Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and welcome back to another episode of Top 5 Wednesday. Top 5 Wednesday is a Goodreads group created by Ginger Reads Laney. I will link to her channel and the Goodreads group down below in case you want to join in on the conversation, which you should, because Top 5 Wednesday is awesome. So today is your top 5 favorite books of the year so far. Now, these aren't in any really particular order, so I'm just going to list them off. Now, these aren't all necessarily books that came out this year, although a couple of them are, but they are all books that I have read this year. And the first one is Don't Let Me Go by Catherine Ryan Hyde. This is a book about a little girl whose mother is on drugs and she's kind of not really capable of taking care of her. So everyone in her apartment building starts taking care of her. And it's just a really good story. It has really good characters. It's really funny. It's really touching and poignant. I think this would be considered an adult book, although it is about a child. But it doesn't really read that way for me. For me, it's kind of ageless. I think it is probably considered an adult book because there is content that deals with drugs and that sort of thing. And it's the relationships and the characters in it are really, really well developed and well written. The next book that would make it onto my favorites of the year so far is I Wrote This for You and Only You by Please Find This. This is a book of poems, and it also has some photography in it. I don't have my copy with me right now because I gave it to my boyfriend for him to read because I loved it so much, and I feel like everyone should read it. It's really, you can get through it in one sitting. I did a review of this book on my old BookTube channel, which I will link to down below. These poems are really touching and heartfelt, and they deal with a lot of universal themes like time and loss and love, and it's just a really great, accessible book of poems that I think everyone would enjoy. The next book that is one of my favorites that I've read this year so far is going to be Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. I don't have the copy of this book either because I gave it back to my mother. This was a very unique experience reading this book, and I just think it was a really excellent achievement on the part of Margaret Mitchell's. I think her character development was really interesting. I think the way she painted, the South at that time was very rich and just classic. It's just a classic. And I feel like everyone in America, definitely in the South, should read this book at some point. I did a full review on this book. I will link to that down below as well. Check that out if you want to see more of my discussion about this book. And the next book that I'm going to put on my list is The Walls Around Us by Nova Suma. I've talked a lot about this book lately. I just read it recently. I stayed up till 2 in the morning finishing it. It is a young adult thriller, mystery, ghost story kind of book that has a touch of paranormal, kind of magical realism, and it's described as a young adult. Orange is the new Black Swan. So if you liked Orange is the New Black or Black Swan, you would definitely like this book. I also did a complete review on this book, so check that out. I will link to it down below as well. And the last book that I'm going to put on my top 5 so far that I've read this year is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is, I feel like, a classic book for feminism. It reads kind of like a Jane Austen book. Not that those didn't do some interesting things for feminism, but Jane Eyre was just a great feminist character. She kind of, makes it on her own, and then only at the end, when she's already independent by her own means, does she get together with Mr. Rochester. And then it's, you know, she's not dependent upon him. In fact, she kind of takes care of him. And I don't know, I really enjoyed reading this book, and I just think that every feminist should read this book at some point. Jane Eyre is a very compelling character, and I just think she's a very strong female protagonist. Alright, those are my 5 favorite books that I've read so far this year. What about you? What are your favorite books that you've read so far this year? If you did a video on this topic, I would love to watch it, so please leave me a link in the comments down below and I will check that out. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos about books or about writing. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing my writing tip video for the week, and I'm going to be talking about 4 things you need to know about feedback. Because this month I'm talking all about revision and feedback and editing, that sort of thing. So definitely stick around if you want to see that. And thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!